Hi, welcome to Quick Bike Check. I'm going to show you how to check the front end of your bicycle. If you believe that there's something loose, let's say you're riding down the road, you apply your front brakes, you get a bit of a judder, a bit of a knocking sensation coming back at you, and you want to check the front end of your bike to try and find out what that cause may be. The potential areas of that problem would be front axle, brake caliper, stem to some degree, and headset. Now a quick check to tell whether that is the case is simply to apply your front brake. Don't apply back brakes at this point, and just rock the bicycle backwards and forwards. Quite clearly you can see that there's quite a lot of play on the front end of this bicycle by the fact that that wheel and frame kind of come together when I'm doing that, and you can physically see it, I'm quite sure. Okay, now to isolate each one of these components from the other to establish which area is the problem, quite easy. Grab hold of your bicycle, grab the top of your tyre, and you're going to rock it backwards and forwards. And in this case I feel no movement, so I'm confident my axle is perfectly okay on this bicycle. The brake caliper, physically try and rock it backwards and forwards. No, it seems pretty secure. Brake blocks, pretty secure, nothing moving there. Okay. The other thing you can do relating to your caliper is just quickly check your rim to make sure that the rim is still intact and there's no break at the joint or anything that might be causing a knocking sensation coming back from the brake block. But if that were the case, you probably would have felt a different sensation when it came to cornering and so forth if you had a broken rim. But it's worthwhile a quick check. Steerer to clamp, literally push down on the handlebars. It will ensure that the connection between your bars and your stem is secure. So I'm happy that that's not the case. I'm confident that the problem is going to be in the headset. So in order to check the headset and isolate it from all the other components, turn the handlebars to a 90-degree angle or so. Just rest the bike against your body, maybe push your foot against the pedal just to hold it, and then rocking backwards and forwards on the handlebars. I can clearly feel the knocking sensation going on, and you can probably see it. So, confident that my problem's in the headset. Let me show you how to adjust that. Quite easy. You need some tools. You need a couple of hex keys. Most importantly, you want to loosen off the bolts that are clamping the stem to the steerer, because if you start trying to adjust the top screw to compact your headset, of course if these are tightened up, it's not going to compact anything because you're trying to push against that pressure. So let's loosen off these screws. Then we will tighten the top screw. Just like that. Now, quick check before you do anything else. Lift the bicycle in the air at least. Turn the handlebars backwards and forwards. If you feel any grinding or stiffness, then you've potentially over tightened. Make sure you don't do that. Before we check it, we do need to lift up these two bolts holding the clamping the stem to the steerer, just so that when you check it, any movement in that isn't seen as movement in your headset. So just nip it up a little bit, doesn't have to be too much. Now we can simply apply the front brake again, rock the bicycle backwards and forwards, and if that sensation is still there, which in this case it is a little bit, therefore I'm confident I haven't adjusted that correctly. So again, just loosen those off and give it another little bit of a turn. Much better. Okay, I'm now confident that I've compressed the stack or the headset correctly, those bearings. So I'm happy now to go ahead and tighten everything up. Obviously make sure everything's still in a straight line and nothing's moved. It's all still straight. Now we're going to tighten up these bolts. The suggestion is you grab your hex key and you just put a little bit more pressure on them. Okay, Now we want to get to the important bit about not over tightening them. Quite often, and most component manufacturers will stamp on the part the Newton meters required to tension these parts to. This isn't the original stem. The original stem did say between 8 and 10 Newton meters on this bicycle. This one is a 9 Newton meter, so I'm quite comfortable going to 9 Newton meters. That pressure that they stamp on there does two things. It prevents damage to the clamp, to the threads of the clamp, as well as the pressure around the material of the steerer, in this case, which is carbon. So don't over tighten it, because you may end up with either a damaged clamp or a damaged steerer. In order to get the correct pressure on there, it's quite useful to invest in a torque wrench. You simply dial in the pressure, the number that the component has suggested, in this case 9 Newton meters. Then what we start doing is just tightening these up a bit at a time on each one. So don't fully tighten one at a time. Just kind of balance it out a bit. And there we go, one click on that one. And one click on that one. Now the important thing here is not to go for a second click on the torque wrench. It will apply a bit more pressure, even though it's set at a certain Newton meter. It will apply a little bit of pressure as you're going for that click, and effectively you could be over tightening it. So literally, if you've dialed in the correct number on the torque wrench to the component, stop at that click, and the job is done.